So, for today's happy hour, um, I'd like to continue as from the beginning of the year, we've been planning to go through the Brahma Viharas and through the different categories systematically. So, we went through the different categories of metta, loving kindness, and I wanted to start with the next Brahma Vihara, the next cultivation, which is compassion, cultivating compassion. So, compassion, what is compassion? How is it different from metta? What's the difference between Karuṇā in Pali and metta in Pali? Compassion and loving kindness. What is the difference between the two? The idea is that when metta, when kindness, when goodwill, when friendliness, just a sense of goodwill and kindness, it meets suffering, then it gets expressed as compassion. So compassion is, if you liked formulas, compassion is metta, which is loving kindness, kindness, goodwill, warmth, friendliness, plus suffering. So suffering that is held with warmth is compassion. There's so many different ways to hold suffering, not very helpful ways. One is to kick ourselves. Well, get it together. Why are you upset? Why are you sad? Why are you hurting? Or the same way to others. Well, why? Whereas, when it's held with care, oh, sweetie, this is hard. This is hard. Acknowledging, first and foremost, that something is challenging, and also bringing kindness, bringing warmth and care to it. Another way that we can think about compassion is that this is a more poetic way to think of compassion, is that compassion is the love child, of loving kindness and suffering, is the love child of loving kindness, metta, and suffering. So the two of them, again, when they come together, gets expressed in our hearts as compassion. So compassion, this practice of compassion, Karuṇā, is one of the Brahma Viharas, heavenly abodes. There are 4 heavenly abodes. First, metta. Second one being Karuṇā, compassion. Third one, sympathetic joy. And the fourth one, equanimity. And we'll get to them in the next weeks and months. And these hard practices, when you practice them, they feel good. They are relieving. They're softening, they're tenderizing. So compassion isn't supposed to feel painful or bad or tough or heavy. If we veer into heaviness, into sadness, we might have veered off from compassion into overwhelm, into grief, into what's called emphatic distress, where metta, where the kindness is not balanced with suffering. There's too much emphasis on the suffering. So when we practice compassion, we want there ideally to be there to be a balance between how much we're tapping into the suffering and how much kindness we're holding it with.